Okay. Hi.
Sup?
Hi.
Sup? I substituted for kindergartners today. That teacher knew what he was doing when he put on the little app that's used by the substitutes in our area. He did not say that he was a kindergartner teacher. Other words, nobody would have picked that up, I don't think. Um, so I feel like I was suckered into it. Definitely blindsided.
You probably were.
Yeah, I was definitely blindsided. And I'll tell you this, it's like kindergartners are like drunk adults. You kind of have to like they know what they shouldn't do, but they're also like too dumb not to do it. You know what I mean? Like for the most part, uh, they they understand they're not supposed to be running around the room, jumping off the tables and like smacking each other, right? But they're still gonna do it until you turn around and it's like, I know you're not supposed to do it. The amount of things I said to them, the amount of the amount of times I see people who aren't following the rules. I see people who don't know how to use chairs. I see people and like the kids are like, "Oh, you figured me out." like, let me just list off. I sent my roommates like every time I feel like I've said like some really dumb things. I send my roommates a list of things I've said. Um, so this is when I was having them line up. This is what I said. I see the front of the line. I see the middle of the line, but I don't see the end of the line. I see the middle of the line. I see the end of the line, but I don't know what the front of the line looks like. Like that's something I said. I see a whole lot of people who don't know how to use chairs. That's another thing. Um, and then it's like, who? Then this is always a thing. Who do we worry about? And like all the kids yell, ourselves. That's right. We worry about ourselves. We don't worry about the people outside the classroom. We don't worry about the person next to us. We worry about ourselves. By the way, I was trained. I was never trained to say any of this. This is just stuff that is already done. So I was never trained to say any of this. Um, and then the amount of countdowns I had to do. I was like, all right, counting down to clean up 10. And then it's like, oh my gosh. That was my day. That was my day. Not to mention the song that I sang to get everybody back inside when it started raining because I could not have recess because the heavens decided you're not having a hard enough day yet until we take recess away, which is where the majority of the kids run out their energy. So now I had to figure out how to get the rest of the kids to run out their energy without actually running out their energy. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Yeah. And like I said, kids are smart. They know what they're not supposed to do. But it's like you have to snap your attention to them to like remind them. Anyways, roll intro. I'm Rebecca.
And I'm Deanna. And we're
The Halfwit Sisters.
Cool. I think I might have cut that off a second or two early. I was like, crap, I gotta transition. Whatever. Trying to fix my camera here because it was at an angle, but yeah, whatever. I don't care.
Yeah, I'm doing middle school and elementaries for the rest of the week too. And I did like a high school. Like high school, you can set it and forget it and walk away, right?
Yeah.
But not this time. Not with this. the guy put a schedule and I could not. I tried so hard to keep up with it, but I could not. Ugh.
It's okay. I had an unexpected day off today because it's election day here in New York. And so we had asynchronous work, which means the students had to log on to a computer at home. And teachers did professional development. I am not required to do professional development because I'm a sub.
Nice.
So I was not required to do that. So I had an unexpected day off today. And I did not get nearly as much done as I wanted to. I turned in my first assignment for my master's degree.
Nice.
My classes started yesterday.
Mm.
They're self-paced, so like I can take them and turn in as many assignments and tests as I want at my own pace. And I was like, let's get this assignment in now, and let's try to get one more in before the end of the week. And then the next one I want to get in by next Sunday, so that I can finish this entire class in a week, in 2 weeks. It's a lot, but.
Well, I'm going to tell you just like what I told the kindergartners. Even if you feel like you can't do it, even if it feels like it's hard, what do? We try our best anyways.
Actually, Becca, let's pause this real quick. I'm going to go put a different shirt on because we are not that kind of podcast and this sweater is too heavy.
Sure.
All right, I'm just going to leave this recording. Entertain people.
Yeah, that's what I do. That is what I do. I started NaNoWriMo. It started yesterday, and I had my meeting with the 2 other people that is in the support group for NaNoWriMo that I am a part of, and it was really interesting to hear their ideas. We all have like vastly different concepts, and I'm excited. Like one person's doing an Eldridge love story, kind of with Lovecraftian elements. Another person is going with a thriller aspect, and that's going to be interesting. But I'm doing one called The Wonder Bread Chronicles, The Marvels of Indoor Plumbing. That's going to have the modern fantasy, so it's going to have more magic, be more set in like our time with some sci-fi elements and a lot of magic. And I'm super excited about this. I announced it on the NaNoWriMo thing, and now I can go and actually, I can get another badge because NaNoWriMo has badges, and because I announced it on technically social media, now I can get another badge. Haha. And these badges are like encouragements to keep moving forward with your novel. So by the end of NaNoWriMo, you're supposed to have written 50,000 words for your novel.
That's
Insane.
a lot.
Oh my God, right. I know. I've already written 1,800. I started yesterday, right as NaNoWriMo started.
Okay, that's a good start. That's the smile of, yeah, not really.
Well, so they give you like tactics on how to tackle each week, or how to tackle your novel as a whole, so you can stay on track to get it. But I had a plan, and then I totally destroyed the plan. I was gonna write a majority of my novel next. I was gonna write a majority of my novel next week by taking an entire week off, but then I agreed to fill a vacancy at a school for a little while, for like 2 weeks. So I've got to figure out how to balance my time so that I can write after school's over without feeling like I feel brain dead today. After running after the kindergartners all day, I feel brain dead today because I really had to like problem solve a whole bunch of things that I just wasn't ready to deal with. and like figure out how to like get these kids to do shit because they didn't want to do anything. And it was like some kids were ready to go and some kids weren't, and I was just like, all right.
That happens.
Yeah. So my brain is like extra tired and I'm super hungry because I didn't take a lunch and I didn't know, nobody like really explained, like every high school I went to took time to explain to me how their high school worked and what to expect in the classes and stuff like that. But this elementary, I walked in and they're like, yeah, your class is down there and there should be something there that tells you what to do. And that was it. That was it. And I had to like walk to go bother other classes because they didn't know. And they were just like, well, we don't know. I'm like, what are you?
Wow.
So fumbling with these kids and hoping I would just get to the next thing. That was my day. So my brain is like fatigued from just trying to problem solve a whole bunch of things that I definitely shouldn't have had to problem solve.
Yeah. I'm not surprised they didn't have anything because that's pretty much every time I've walked into a classroom. Like, I've only been to 2 schools. The school I'm at now, which has been the majority of the thing, and then I did 1 week of summer school. And all of it's pretty much like that, where you kind of just walk in and they're like, yep, these are your classes, bye. Great.
Well, I know some, like, I know we complained a lot last time, but I know some of them get placed on Google Classroom, but what do you do when it doesn't work? Right? Or the stuff didn't load correctly, or the teacher forgot to add the students to it, or like, what do you do then? And I've come across that now several times, and there's nobody for me to go talk to. I can't do anything because I'm a sub. Like, so there I am at the front of the class, tossing on Tom and Jerry, so I could take like 3 minutes to figure out what I'm gonna do. And the kids are like, well, we're supposed to be. I was like, I know. And I even said this to them out loud. I was like, I know, but I need 3 minutes to breathe and think. That's all I said that to these kindergartners. I was like, I need 3 minutes to breathe and think. And this is what you're going to watch while I try and do that.
Fair enough.
Like, there's nothing else. I can't walk to another teacher and say help because they've got their own class. I can't go to the front office and say help because they're like, you should have everything you need the teacher should have given you everything you needed and they didn't. Yeah. So it's a gamble. And what really sucks is, especially when it's elementary, like as I was walking out of this school, I was thinking there's no way. I feel like for elementary, especially like kindergartners to maybe like 3rd grade, I don't think you should just have random people walk in. Like those people, you should definitely have somebody that knows what they're doing go in.
Yeah. Well, so when I went through my sub-training, some of the things they did mention was like, you're supposed to have a couple lesson plans for every grade you might be thrown into. And this is something as simple as like an activity for them to do. So an age-appropriate activity. It does not have to be a full lesson because you don't know what they've learned and all of that shit. But you should have some kind of activity for them to do in your sub bag. I'm like, that's a lot because you don't know what class you're going to get thrown into. You might not be told. A lot of the listings that I've seen for subs, they just straight up don't tell you what grade or even what class. You could be in New York, you can be thrown into a special eds class. You can be thrown into... I'm covering a class right now. A teacher went on paternity leave. He'll be back in 6 weeks. And I'm in charge of his, I think they're called self-contained students who don't have a good grasp on English. And so they have a Spanish translator for my English class.
Yeah, I got hit with that too. Like there was one kid that could not speak English with me. He struggled with English. Like I had to have a student translate for me
Yeah.
the entire day. It's like I don't know what and that's the thing. Like I agree. Like we use a program too, and like I said, when I went in, all my thing said was that it was a computer app, right? And I was like, I don't exactly know what that means, but I'll pick it up. Because every other school had said like some like a little bit of something that they like every other listing I had picked up said a little bit of something that they were doing like R, or if they had something in the Google Classroom, or if they had an assistant, and that I had been very careful on what I was picking up. And this one had said, and I had picked some that was strictly with career institutes too. So when I picked this one, I was like, nah, I don't know what computer apps is, but it's not an elementary. Maybe it's for some of the older kids. But when I walked in there, like they didn't even tell me who was kindergarten. They just were like, he's in this room, go there. I walk in and I looked around and I was like, oh, I'm screwed. That was but I agree. Like you bring up the program, and half the time it's just the teacher or the school, or it's just the school name, and that's it. And you have no and you just told it's this day or this many days, and that's really all you get, right? So if and to your point, like some of these subs, like for me, I don't really have a whole lot of anything to like go into this. And yeah, they gave us a couple bucks to tell you what classes are learning, or like activities you can use to help teach students. But that doesn't really give you much, right? Uh I wouldn't even know where to begin.
Yeah.
Like I was lucky that I had this smart TV and this tablet with a couple games on there that I could use in between, like when I was panicking, to just have these kids play like number matching games with me. Like that's what I ended up doing anytime like everybody was losing their shit.
Yeah.
Like I just dragged us all together and I was like, all right, well this is what we're doing. Because I could not figure out for the life of me how else to salvage the day other than look at that app, look at the tablet. I was like, what's on here?
Yeah. It's probably it's one of those things like the US doesn't really have like a standard curriculum across the board for all 50 states. We aren't really, and as subs, we aren't really told, hey, in kindergarten they're focusing on this, in first grade this, second grade, and on and so forth. So one of the issues I'm struggling with right now is like I have no clue what my senior class is supposed to be learning. Their senior English. Mm-hmm. No idea. I have no clue what they're supposed to be doing in AP English. Mm-hmm. I'm so lucky that the paternity leave I'm covering, he's a co-teacher. So one of the in his other class, he's a co-teacher in another class, and so that teacher makes all the lesson plans, and I just take from her.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
my narrative class, they're learning the exact same thing the 12th graders are learning because I don't know what else to do for them. Because like you're not told what these kids are supposed to be learning and what they're supposed to be doing or what their thing is at or anything.
And just to point out, it's not like the teachers can't go into these programs and put what they are doing. It's not like they can't.
Yeah.
It's not like they can't. It's probably that they aren't trained on it. They're just told this exists and they can go in. Or, and this is what happened today. The school that I was at was like, hey, we have a teacher that's going to be out for a while. Can you cover us? And I was like, I'm booked for the rest of the week, but for the 2 weeks that you do need, I can cover those. And they had their front office assistant, the person running the front office, put in that information. So it might be somebody from the front office. And if that's the case, then they're not putting all the information in.
Yeah.
right? And so that very important. Before I even asked, before I was like, is it another kindergarten? Because I don't think I will. They're like, no, it's fourth grade. It's fourth grade. I was like, okay, I might do a fourth grade class, but I ain't doing another kindergarten. I ain't ready for that energy because that's a lot of energy. Like, the lower grades, you have to come with a shit ton of energy.
Yeah.
Just to keep up with the kids, but also to keep like their attention is bouncing all over the place, and to keep their attention is gone,
Yeah.
But so like to that point, it's not like they can't. It's just maybe it's who's filling it out and what information should go into it, and if that information is given to the person who's filling it out, and if it's the front office, then no, they wouldn't have that information. Like, the teacher's not giving them that lesson plan.
Yeah.
What do you do, right? So this is our frustrations. This is what we're coming up against.
Yeah.
But a peek behind the curtain on like just the education from our education system from our point of view, that has made it really frustrating. Like, we didn't think we'd run into these kinds of frustrations.
No. It's also
it.
as I'm doing this more and more, I'm realizing I took this position just because I can't say no. And not only am I severely underqualified for it, I mean, I don't even have a teaching degree. I'm going to get my master's now and get a teaching degree, which is great. But I don't understand. Like, I'm glad the assistant principal is like making the plans for the AP classes, and I'm just fuddling through and teaching what it is. But like, I'm severely out of my depth. She hands me 3 units that she's like, okay, we're going to make this last the next like 6 weeks if we can. We'll just try to figure out how to do this into a curriculum for them. And I'm just looking at it, I'm like, I have no clue what any of this means.
Yeah. I subbed for 3 days. US government, I think. And they were doing taxation. And they were like, Miss, how do you do this? And I looked at them and I was like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how to do it either. I picked up the worksheet and I stared at it and I was like, did you read the directions? And they were like, really?
Google is your friend?
Yeah, I told that to another guy. He's like, he said we have to put this in our own words. And I looked him straight in the face. I was like, did you Google it?
Google your own words.
It's like, do you know what a Federal Reserve is? And he goes, oh, I was like, Google it.
There was a problem. Like, I gave the kids in my AP classes an assignment to like create a poster, creating an ad for the class. They're working in pairs. I told them turn it in tomorrow, Wednesday. They're like, well, we're not at school Tuesday today. This was Monday. And I was like, so how are we supposed to do this? Like, if we don't have more class time to do it. I was like, you're going to have to figure that out. That is not my problem.
Put the big brain. Oh my God. Put the big brain slur. I legit said to a class, I went, if you don't finish your work before your teacher returns, that is on you. That is not on me. I am just your substitute. When I walk out the door, I am done. And they looked at me and they were like, damn, miss. I was like, just keeping it true.
The first week of this marking period, I'm not taking any late work from it.
I don't have to worry about that quite. But okay, enough about teaching and our frustrations about that. What else do we got going on?
Oh, did you see that there is a prequel for Army of the Dead?
No.
Yes, so it just came out. It's called Army of Thieves.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoyed it. We watched it today. I found out about it
Okay, I was
today and
like-
watched it today.
All right.
It is not a zombie film.
Okay.
It
What-
it is a bank heist film.
Okay. But Army of the Dead is a zombie film,
Is a
right?
zombie film, yes.
Okay. But
And
the
it-
prequel is a bank heist film.
Is the prequel is a bank heist. It follows one of the characters from. It follows the safecracker from Army of the Dead, and the 3 safes he cracked that are related to the safe he cracked in Army of the Dead.
Okay.
And they mention like the zombie apocalypse happening in America, but they're in Germany and it's not gotten over there yet. It's just a solely American problem. So like there's mentions, and you do get a couple flashes like in the guy's dreams about the zombies, but it's not a zombie film. And I
Okay.
actually super enjoyed it. It actually like had a story that like Army of the Dead kind of lacked.
Okay.
So it was enjoyable. It's on Netflix. I definitely suggest it. The one thing that made me upset wasn't even about the movie. It was this Forbes article that I saw about it, where it goes, "You need Army of the Dead to get context for Army of the Thieves," and I was like, or you could just watch the movie and understand that there are things in the prequel you won't understand because it's mentioning like future events. And so you'll get that context when you watch the next movie.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's almost like a movie could build on information.
How dare they? I watched the new Hero Academia movie, My Hero Academia New World Heroes. It's the new one that came out. And I have to say, action was good, animation was good, you know, but I wasn't all on board with it. It's so the whole premise is that there is a terrorist organization that is trying to get rid of all people with quirks, because they think that they're tainted and that the real humans are the quirkless. If you don't know what Hero Academia is, where have you been? Living in Iraq, apparently. So the whole thing is built around this premise, and they set up bombs in a bunch of cities that, when triggered, it causes people's quirks to go out of control and essentially kills them, essentially. And of course, the heroes get together around the world to try and find these bombs, while also dismantling the terrorist organization. That's the premise. That's what it's supposed to be. I felt like some of the characters just didn't need to be there. Like the story felt kind of flat in a lot of ways, because it was trying to tell too much and didn't know how to, and that they kind of shied away from some of the deaths that happened in there. Like, if you're gonna have a character kill themselves, like, just have the character kill themselves. Like don't shy away from it. Just let it happen.
You already committed to it. You might as well commit.
Pretty much, you like straight up at the end of the movie, you have 2 characters get crushed to death. Like you have 2 characters pretty much look like they're getting crushed to death, which turns out they don't. I don't know. I didn't pay attention towards the end. I was flagging. I was falling asleep towards the end. But I just felt like the story itself was kind of lacking. I wasn't like totally on board with it anymore. Out of like the 3 Hero Academia movies that have come out, the second one is definitely my favorite, although it breaks like one of the rules of Hero Academia. But overall, it has it's probably the second movie is probably my favorite, with the first being like a close second. But the third was just like, I like what they were trying to do with it, but I felt like some of the characters just didn't get a chance to shine. Like Bokugo, they really didn't give the character a chance to shine. I feel like he was they had him take a step backwards in his character development. And Shoto, I felt like he had a lot of chances, but they didn't give him a real like good show with the fight that he was having, even though that fight was really awesome and they could have really gone further with that. So it was just, that's where I stand on the whole thing.
Fair enough. Trying to think of what else. I watched the Addams Family, the new one,
Oh.
the animated, and I gotta say, while I enjoy it, and I do want to watch the original TV show, I feel like it misses the point of the Addams Family.
So the first you watched the first one, right?
Yes.
Okay, the first one was pretty good. I haven't seen the second one, but the first one was pretty good. I haven't seen the second one, so I'm not too sure how it goes. But do you remember the original movies?
Yes. We also watched those recently.
Oh, okay. Okay. There's supposed to be a Netflix series that's supposed to follow Wednesday Addams.
Yes, I've heard that.
Yeah.
We'll see. But your opinion on the Addams Family?
Oh, my opinion on it is like, I like the first movie. I haven't seen the second one, but I like the first movie, and I like what they were doing with it, and kind of like you're bringing like these weirdos to this very like suburban homeowner association. It's like the weirdos versus the homeowner association, but it also gave me like this vibe of the Beverly Hills Hillbillies. Do you remember
Yes.
that old show? Yeah. And it was just like a little charming thing to watch. And I enjoyed the dynamics of all the characters, and it had some of the spirit of the original Addams. But like I said, I haven't seen the second one, so I'm not quite sure.
So the second one follows Wednesday in that she doesn't believe she's an Addams anymore. Part of this is an evil plot by a scientist to separate her and get a formula that he needs from her to make people obey. Generic villain plot. But it's like part of the love of the Addams was like they embraced their weird, kooky side and their love of the macabre, and it's just like seeing Wednesday try to not do that.
Well, I mean, didn't in the first movie she purposely try to go preppy just to like piss everybody off?
Yes, but like I guess it kind of made sense in that movie because they were isolated, where in like the 90s movies they weren't isolated. They went to regular school. But in the cartoon,
I'm not talking about, I'm sticking strictly with the cartoon. I'm not talking about any of the things. I'm sticking, like, it feels like, since I haven't seen the second one and just going based off of what you said, it feels like they tried to just take that moment of her being preppy and going, hey, you know what? We were playing with that. Let's really take that and go further with it and really have it. But I don't know. why that would have triggered her to think she wasn't an Adams anymore. I don't know what was the thought process that might have triggered her to think she wasn't an Adams anymore.
Yeah.
Because we know in the first one she was doing it just to fuck with him.
Yeah, in this one, it was there. I mean, there's a whole plot of like a guy had come and was telling her parents that she was switched at birth and like she's not really her daughter and she overhears that. And she starts to have doubts from that. And then she does a DNA test on Gomez's hair. Turns out he has a toupee. You figure that part out pretty quickly.
Lame.
Why do we and sync a lot? But I don't know. In total, I feel like it's missing the love of the macabre and their quirkiness. I feel like the Addams Family cartoon, the new movies, it's just missing part of that.
That's how I feel about the Hotel Transylvania franchise. Like the first two movies were good. They were great. You know, did you ever see those?
I did.
You know, They were good. They were great. I really enjoyed them. The first one was enjoyable, and then the second one when they brought in like his grandson, and you know he wants his grandson so badly to be the vampire, and the daughter is just like trying to get in touch with her husband's human side of the whole thing. Like that was all very cute and was like a great progression of the two stories. And then you get into the third one and you're just like, stop. just stop. You had a good thing going with the first two. Just stop. The rest of it. And now what is this? The fourth one that they had come out? And
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, and you're just like, no. I don't know what this premise is that you're going with. I don't stop.
You know, some shows and movies should just tell their story and end.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't think I've really seen much else. I've just been so focused on work and getting ready for school.
So, thing. Fuck you.
So I really can't think of any other movies that I've seen lately.
I'm sorry. Okay, look, this is the thing that happened. I sent a thing in. I sent it over to this person. I was like, look, you have everything that you need. All you have to do is look at this one thing. And this person was like, no, I don't want to look at it. You just need to tell me everything that's on that thing because I don't want to go look at it. And I was like, no, you go look at this thing. And they're like, no, I don't want to. I want you to tell me everything. And it went back and forth like that through 3 emails. And then I stopped responding. 3 emails and like 2 texts. And I went, nope. I'm done. I'm done with the day. Shut everything off. I closed down everything. I was like, I'm not gonna deal with it. I don't want to deal with it. I don't have to deal with it. I'm technically not being paid to deal with it. It's like everything I'm doing is out of the kindness of my heart. and then I just got a text right now and the person like, I'm live. We're live. And I'm just like, fuck you.
That's great for you.
I don't even know. I don't even know. So apparently somewhere between like yesterday and today, like things got solved and they solved everything and now it's all copacetic. Great. That's fabulous. Oh, I meant to say this. I started a Medium account for blogging.
Okay.
Yes, I have my own little website and I put up blogs on there every once in a while. But I'm not very happy with my website, and until I can get it into a place that I'm happy with, I decided I'd go to Medium and post there. Medium is like this really popular. This is not
sponsored. I should say this because I feel like I was about to go into like this whole spiel about go to Medium now. No. So I started a Medium account because I really wanted to get back into blogging and just
kind of fall back in love with the free feeling of putting thought back onto paper and sharing that with people. And I put my first blog post out. So you can go to at My Dyslexic World Twitter and find my first blog post. And I think I'm gonna do it twice a month instead of every week. So I'm gonna do twice a month a blog post. Excuse me, and do it that way. So maybe one at the beginning of the month, one at the end of the month, or one at the beginning, one in the middle. Something like that. I'll figure out the schedule. But I'm super excited about it. And then cross posts on my own blog. And there will be some things that'll be like exclusive to my blog. Like if there's like I want to get back into doing writing prompts. Like I was doing at the beginning of this year, I was doing writing prompts and then doing little
short stories.
Well, no, audiobooks that went along with it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I was doing writing prompts and then doing little audiobooks that went along with it, and I was really enjoying that. So I want to get back into that, and I think I'll do those exclusive to my blog only and go from there. So I'm looking at getting in contact with a web designer to redesign my entire blog so that I feel like it's in a better space into where I want it to be. But until then, I started Medium, and from there, I'm hoping that I can reach out to like a larger audience and get my blogging life going again. Okay. So I'm excited. I'm excited.
I'm glad. I have done nothing.
Well, I was talking. I wrote like 4 blog posts in like a week, and I was talking to a friend of mine. I was like, when I was reading back some of the work that I had written, I was like, oh, where has this humor been all my life? And we often talk about how to get back into creativity. One of the things that I realized when I was writing, especially starting NaNoWriMo as well, because I feel like I can finally write again without the feeling of being crushed. A lot of the reasons why I was struggling with my creativity is because I was worrying about my needs, right? We talked about this once before, I think, you balancing your needs and your wants. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to sound like Dad for a bit because this is something that he said to me. It's like you're balancing your needs and your wants. But for creatives in general, when you're worried about where your next paycheck is coming from or what you're going or how you're going to feed yourself or keep your roof over your head, it creates a pressure on you that makes it very difficult to keep up some of your creativity, especially if your creativity is what you're using to feed yourself. And until you feel like you've established yourself in such a way that you don't have to worry where your next meal is coming from, that pressure just makes it so hard to move forward, right? So when I finally got the orientation link, I haven't got my first paycheck. I just got the orientation link that said, yes, you are now the sub. Go do this thing. And I went and did my first day of subbing, despite how spectacularly bad that went. I felt like my creativity unlocked. All that pressure that was there that was keeping me from doing it. And even though I didn't have to worry because my roommates were great and just making sure that I didn't have to worry about where my food was coming from or keeping a roof over my head, I still worried about money, where my money was coming from. The moment I didn't have to worry about that because I had this subbing that was bringing in just something, finally unlocked that, finally released that pressure, and I could look again and write for the first time in what felt like write like myself, I should say. Write like myself for the first time in what felt like ages. And it wasn't just for me. I also wrote for another client. Like, I haven't written for somebody else in ages. And a lot of that is because I feel like my voice died. And for the first time, I wrote for somebody else and it sounded good and they liked it and they laughed at it. And that helped me further move forward with a lot of the creative endeavors that I want to pursue as well. So that is something that I wanted to share with everybody. So starting the Medium blog is also kind of like, I feel like in a lot of ways I'm restarting my life after the shit that's happened to me over the last couple of years. Like, I've had to restart my life entirely, and both the starting with our podcast and TikTok, starting the podcast and the TikTok, and now the Medium and with subbing, it feels like I finally have established and put myself on a firm ground that I can move forward in a good, positive direction that I've been looking to do. And that the writing that I'm doing is now actually within the voice that I feel like I had lost at the time. So I'm happy. Is the short end of it. I'm happy. Yay! Is the short end of it.
I'm glad.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm very glad you are finding yourself.
I wouldn't say find myself, but it is somewhere in that direction.
You're finding your creative spark again, which is nice because I know you've struggled with that.
I think, the creative spark is always something that's very, very difficult for people in general. It comes and goes based on what you feel like the day when you wake up. Some days you wake up and you're ready to take on the entire world, and then some days you wake up and you're like, don't even talk to me. One person looks at me wrong and I'm gonna fucking sock them. Right? So it really, like, for me, I feel like this is just, I'm in a good spot. Yeah, I will say that, definitely, for sure.
Like I said, I'm glad.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Oh.
Now, about that episode that never got released.
I finished editing it today. It's edited now. I can just upload it now and release it.
That was supposed to be our Halloween episode.
I got home that day and zoned out.
I mean, it happens.
And then Saturday, we were zoned out in the morning, and then we were out basically all afternoon. And then Sunday was Halloween, and we were watching movies and sleeping because Neil hasn't been feeling well. And then it was Tuesday.
Like I said to the kindergartners today, sometimes things just don't work out the way you want them to.
So, should I just put that out for this Friday and then this video is next Friday?
I don't care at this point.
So the last week's episode, which happened on Friday, was the Halloween episode. I got it edited. It's edited now.
What do we try our best? I got home and I was telling the roommates about like all the things that I was saying, of course, and then like the whole like all day what I was saying with the kids was like, I'm hearing a lot of I can't. It's so hard. And they were like replying back, we're trying our best. So I'm gonna be hearing that for the next couple weeks. just from my roommates.
Oh,
We're trying our best.
If they get super rowdy, you can always do. So a couple years ago, I had done a anti-bullying tour in Boston. I misgendered this poor girl so much. Oh, I felt so bad. But one of the things I realized when the students got like really rowdy because they thought it was so funny, and then they start talking to their friends, and then they're distracted, we would full on stop the show, stand there and go, if you can hear my voice, clap your hands. If you can hear my voice, clap your hands.
Oh no, this is what I did.
Until the entire...
This is what
I had it till the entire gym was going...
No, this is what I did. When I was reading and they weren't listening to me, I stopped reading, put the book on my lap, and stared. And I stared. And I stared. And then they all looked at me, and I went, do you know what's happening right now? And they went, yes. I was like, what's happening right now? And they went, we're talking. I was like, can I read while you're talking? They went, no. I was like, do you not like the story? And they're like, yes. I was like, if you like the story, raise your hand. If you don't like the story, raise your hand. What? You don't like the story? Do you want to stop? No. Okay. If you really like the story, put a thumbs up. All right, well, how about this? Let's finish the story, and then we'll really decide if we like the story or if we don't like the story. And then, DJ, I think you're going to remember this clap.
Yep, I do. I do
remember that
clap.
I didn't know what to do. They were losing their minds at one point. They were all over the room. I looked up. I had lost control because I went over to the list to figure out what we were doing. They were all over the room. I didn't know what to do. And I blanked out and I did that clap. And they all clapped back. And I went, it works.
It is amazing. You do not know what thing, whether it's that clap, if it's the silent with the peace sign, or if you can hear my voice, clap your hands. You do not know. I used almost every single one of those on that tour, and it did not matter. All of them. Even like somehow we ended up doing the show to high schoolers could respond to it.
It's just so great. My brain broke for like 3 seconds, and I did it again because I was so excited. It was still a thing.
Yeah.
But like during there and sitting with the book on my lap and waiting, and then like at the end of the story, I was like, all right, if you really like the story, put your thumbs up. If you didn't like the story, put the thumbs down. Right? But that was just like a moment. Oh my gosh. And I did do you guys made me use my mean voice. I don't like using my mean voice.
Oh my god.
So, we're bringing this episode to a close, and you know what that means.
Like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon. Oh, there we go.
So you can be notified of all our net episodes. We promise we won't always be talking about teaching, but today was just one of those days, you know?
Yeah.
So why don't you tell us down in the description below, not down in the description below. If you're writing in our descriptions, I have some passwords I need to update. Tell us down in the comment section below. If you remember what was one thing your teacher did to get your attention, What was something that you can't believe you heard if you if you have kids and you heard something that your teacher did that you still can't believe is being used in class? Or what was one story you have where you were the absolute hellion of your year? Love to hear it. In other words, we'll see you next
Next
time.
time. Bye.
Bye.
Oh my god. Okay.